STAR method. Whenever you are sharing your experiences in detail, now you mentioned your final year project or you mentioned an internship. If they ask you to elaborate on it, that talk about this project, talk about this internship, talk about this experience of yours, how do you expand on it? Or if they ask you questions like, talk about a time where you faced a challenge and you had to resolve it, or talk about a time where there was a fight between teammates and what did you do, or talk about a time when you failed, when your project failed. These questions are not asked directly in these words, but indirectly they word it in a lot of different ways, where the answer is usually an experience that you have to share. Now, whenever you have to answer such kind of questions, the STAR method is a good way to answer the question. Now, what is the STAR method? The STAR method, S is situation, T is the task, A is action, R is the result. You can take a screenshot of this. Okay, so situation or context is what happened, when did it happen? So during my final year group project or during my internship at dash place while I was working in this position, or during my final year project on whatever was your topic and whatever you are trying to prepare, give the background. Whenever we start saying a story, first we talk about background. Ek jungle tha, once upon a time in a forest, once upon a time in a city, once upon a time 100 years ago, whatever is the context. Next, what was your task? What was your role or responsibility in that? I was responsible for coordinating the team and ensuring deadlines were met, because this must be a question related to team management. If it's a technical question, you talk about your technical responsibility in that I was responsible for preparing the backend, or I was responsible for filling the case study, or I was responsible for filling the details in this, or I was responsible for taking case history of the patient. Whatever was your specific responsibility. Next, what action did you do? You gave the situation, you told them what you were responsible for. Now, how did you execute that responsibility? Or when that incident happened in your responsibility, what action did you take? I created a task stacker, divided roles based on strengths, and set up weekly check-ins. Result, what was the outcome of this? In that situation, in your given responsibility, when you performed a certain set of actions, now this action is where you describe the entire incident. And at the end, you talk about the positive result which came out. We submitted the project 1 week early and scored an A grade. Now, if it's a question where they ask you at some time when you failed, then you will say that the project was not successful, but it gave me a learning that, and you end the answer with a learning that you got. You never end the answer on a failure and the project did not work, full stop, end of the answer, no. From this, we learned that we could have done this, whatever is your learning. That shows you are someone who is ready to learn from failures, which is a great thing to show, especially when they've asked a question about one time when things did not work, or your story is where in the ending the result is not positive. Don't forget to mention the learning. Okay. Be concise, 2 to 3 sentences per star step. Highlight your own contribution. We are not just talking about how the team worked on the project. This is your job interview. Focus on positive results, and if it failed, focus on the learning. Clear with this STAR method? Everyone? You start with a situation, you share a task, whatever task, whatever responsibility was given to you, you talk about the entire story of the action that you took. This happened, and then I did this, which ultimately gave a good result. Never share stories which show you in a negative light. Okay, where someone else did the good job and you were the villain. Please do not share such stories in your interview. They can impact you negatively. Usually the questions which are asked are teamwork. Tell me a time about you worked successfully for a team. This question can be worded in a lot of different ways. So you are probably talking about some technical aspect of the project and they say, and then this teammate did not work. How did you handle it? So indirectly, this is a question like this. It does not come always in the form that now question 1, question 2, question 3. You are describing a project, you are talking about a technical thing, you are talking about a life experience, and suddenly they ask you to elaborate on a situation. Problem solving, where you faced a challenge and you solved it. Leadership, when you took initiative or led a group or led a project. Conflict handling, where you disagreed with someone and you resolved it. Usually, two people disagreed and you resolved it would be a leadership kind of question. But you had disagreement with someone and you resolved it, that is conflict handling. How good you are in stress management, in handling people relationships. This question tests them. And time management. A tight deadline, how did you manage to meet it? So if you had to answer these questions, some example answers that I'm giving you. A time you work successfully in a team. Like during my final year project, we had to develop a mobile app in 3 months. I was responsible for coordinating the design and coding teams. I created a task calendar, set weekly check-ins, ensured smooth communication. We finished on time and the project was selected for college exhibition. A real life experience would not be as short as this. This is a sample answer that I developed, and I am not someone who develops mobile apps, right? So my answer is only this much. But when you are talking about your real life experience, for every point you can include 2 to 3 sentences so that your answer is a bit longer. If you are writing this answer down, make it short. But when you're speaking it in an interview, especially elaborate on the action point. Okay, what was the actual action that you took? And don't go off topic. Don't become emotional in the interview. Stay formal. Stay professional. An example of describe a situation where you faced a challenge and how you solved it. So in a hackathon, our code failed an hour before the final submission. Or if it's a business case study, then we were supposed to prepare this, but one of our teammates was not well and we couldn't do it, or due to some XYZ reason. During COVID, a lot of students had a lot of situations where their projects and internships were hanging in between. So I was handling the backend integration. I quickly debugged the issue, collaborated with my teammate, rewrote the faulty script. The code ran successfully and we secured 3rd place out of 40 teams. Share preferably those stories where you are winning. Okay. So a problem that arose and you solved it. It could be a project problem. It could be an internship problem, a college fest, a community initiative. Okay. Prefer professional experiences. Give an example of when you took initiative or led a project. In my internship, our mentor was unavailable during a critical task. I volunteered to coordinate the group in absence. I divided roles, followed the SOPs, and kept track of deadlines. The project was delivered smoothly, and my mentor later appreciated my initiative. So this could also be a story where you took lead. Tell me about the time you disagreed with someone in your team and how you resolved it. A simple answer for this could be, while organizing a college fest, I disagreed with a teammate on vendor selection, which happens a lot in college fest committees. So I was in charge of logistics and the cost was a concern. Then you talk about that entire process of how you negotiated or how you took price from different vendors. I suggested we compare vendors on quality, price, and reliability, and then we voted as a team. Talk about like how we chose 4 vendors and these were the different numbers given by them. And then as a team, we took a vote and finalized this one. So we chose the best option, reduced cost by 15%, and the event went smoothly, which was the result. Your action point needs to be expanded. The last example, describe a situation where you had to meet a tight deadline. How did you handle it? During exams, I also had to submit a project report within 2 days. Sometimes emergency submissions come up. I needed to balance both without compromising quality. I created a study and work schedule, dedicated some project tasks, and focused on high priority items first. I submitted the report on time and scored well in the exam. If your marks were really great, you can also mention your marks. And they have your mark sheets in front of you, so don't bluff. No false stories. Okay, you will get follow-up questions. Clear with the STAR method? You talk about a situation, you talk about what was your responsibility, what you had to do, and then what you actually did, followed by the result. Clear with this? The STAR method? Thank you. So just to quickly recap, today we talked about 4 types of interviews: HR, technical, stress, and online. How should men and women dress in professionally for the interview? And what should be your etiquette? What should be your body language? Because first impressions matter. Don't be nervous. Look confident. Communication should be clear, polite, confident. Okay, and your body language is very important. Also, listening is as important as speaking in an interview. Before your interview, research the company, research your role, rehearse your answers, be ready, and your files and folders should be proper. Post-interview, thank you note within 24 hours, follow-up after 15 days if needed, not for campus placements, and follow-up should be done only once. And you can also follow them on the LinkedIn instead of sending a follow-up email. HR questions, answer with relevance and honesty, answer in detail. For strengths, give experiences. For weaknesses, mention how you improve on it. Talk about your career goals in short term, mid-term, long-term. For structured behavioral answers, you can use the structure STAR method: situation, task, action, and result. Be prepared. Know the company role and yourself. Be professional in your dress, in your words, in your body language. Be clear. Use STAR to give structured answers. Prepare these common questions beforehand. Be polite. Always follow up with gratitude when you leave. Say thank you for your time. With a smile, leave. While leaving, also leave a good impression on the interview. And be confident. Believe in your story, not just your CV. Whatever you have written in your resume, beyond that also, there are stories that you share. That is what an interview is about, right? They already have your resume. Now they want to see the person behind your resume. That is all from my end. If you have any questions, this is the time to ask them. You can ask them in the chat box, or you can speak up and ask. And if there is any feedback that you would like to share, I'd be more than happy to receive it. You can, if there's something that you want me to improve on, or if in terms of content, if you feel that there's something that can be improved in this session, please feel free to share that also. And we have a lot of professionals here present. So sir and ma'am, from your experiences also, if you would like to share something, I would be more than happy to get it. Dear students, if you feel that there's something more that could be learned, or there's any doubts you have, please share them as well. Okay. How should we respond when they ask about what is the salary you expect? Okay, so when they say what's the salary you expect, that is also part of market research that you should do. For campus placement, this question will not come, because in campus placement, your salary is already decided that this is the salary that we will offer to the students. So you won't be able to negotiate on it. But if you are appearing for the interview on your own, find out what is the average salary for this position for a fresher, or if you have 6 months, 1 year experience. For that, based on your whatever is your experience, whatever is your industry, whatever position you are applying for, and last but not the least, which city you are applying for, because the same thing can have a different salary in Mumbai, different in Hyderabad, different in Bangalore, different in a small city like Indore or Baroda or Bhopal, or a smaller city. Like if it is Hyderabad, the salary is different. If it's a smaller city, in Vijayawada, probably the salary would be different for the same position. Now, how do you research it? You have Glassdoor, you have pay scale, and AI today consolidates answers from a lot of different websites. So know what is the average salary. Whatever you want, add 2 to 5,000 over it, and then say it. Because when you negotiate, it will come down a little to whatever is your target salary. So say that based on my market research, I feel that this is the average salary for freshers. So this is what I'm asking. Add to the salary that was the base salary. First of all, you should not say salary. Try to avoid answering this that, ma'am, I would like to know what you are offering as I am a fresher first. So for freshers especially, you can answer it that way. Now, if they insist that no, you have to answer, then take out that amount which you have found based on your research. Salary negotiation is an entire process and session in itself. So I would not like to go on that, but for salary, you can at least mention it in this way by doing research. First, do not answer this question. Try to avoid it, go deflect it. And if they force you to answer it, then you can give a number which is 2 to 3,000 more than what you are actually wanting, and what should be the want that you can research online. Shyamla ma'am, I am not sure about that. The chances are high, but I'm not sure about that. The admin team has to answer this question. Thank you so much, Soumya. What are the most common mistakes students make during interviews, and how can faculty help them avoid this? The most common mistakes would be dressing, not being fluent in English, not preparing or not researching the company role, their skills, not preparing this standard strength, weakness, time management, conflict resolution stories ahead. See, when you have those stories in your mind, especially in the star format, when you've already written and prepared them beforehand, it becomes very easy to speak up during the interview. But if you're not already prepared this, then you need to sit and think. Now, when you are sitting and thinking, it means your speaking speed blows away. And if there's an English problem, then you have to think even, then that's a bigger issue now. So for that also, now that becomes, that gives a very wrong impression that the student has not prepared. Those who are well prepared will score better in eyes of the interviewer. So not preparing and not taking care of the basic etiquette is the biggest mistake. I want to know about English practice sessions. Currently, I don't take English practice sessions. We are planning to start a course for it as well, a proper structured course, which we can offer to college students, maybe adults. But I used to take English when I was in a university as a professor and in IELTS classes. Okay, are there any questions that I missed? Yes, Jyotiji, we are planning to have a lot more sessions like this. This is one of the first sessions in the series of training and placement preparation that we are planning to do. English practice. See, learning any language as an adult is by reading and listening to it. If you were not here, and if you were forced to be in a country where everyone around you is speaking English and they do not understand any Hindi, Telugu, Malayalam, Marathi, Gujarati, Tamil, you would be forced to speak English language, even if it was broken, some sign language and some English language. That is when you would start learning. That is when you would start slowly understanding, and you would be listening to a lot of English around you because everyone around you is speaking in English. So grammar rules are important, but that exposure is also important. Now we are living in India, so that might not be entirely possible. So what's the option? Listen to English podcast. Read non-fiction books. Novels, especially the British novels, have a different level of English. Whatever is your level of English, don't go for Chetan Bhagat books. Although students feel that Ravinder Sanghi and Chetan Bhagat books are easy English, that is not really going to work on your improvement level. If you are already at the basic level and you want to go to one step becoming fluent. If you don't know even that level of English, then it's a good place to start. But you can read books like Who Moved My Cheese? Atomic Habits is a very easy English. So those kind of fiction books which are written in easy English, and also giving you the name, Atomic Habits is very easy English compared to other books. Some books of Brian Tracy like Eat That Frog. It also has very simple English. So they will give you life productivity hacks and also improve English. So read this kind of books. Start with 2 pages a day, then gradually go to 5 pages a day, because your speed of reading and listening and understanding will also increase the more you keep practicing. That is the only way you can become fluent in a language, by exposure to listening and reading it. The ratio, this is a scientific research which has been taught to us while I was doing my MA in English language teaching, that if you listen to 10 words, you can speak 1 word. If you read 10 words, you can write 1 word. So the ratio of input to output is 10 to 1. So depending on how much you want to speak, you need to listen and read 10 times more. I'm always used to underestimating this. That is an emotional intelligence question, Shamla ji. And I would not say that would fall up in purview of interview preparation. So I think I would have to ask a lot of follow-up questions for this. So let's take this some other time. When it comes to, in context of interview, I would say that if you are underestimating yourself, prepare in advance and prepare your questions and practice the common answers in front of a mirror. If you have practiced them enough, you will not feel nervous. When things are, and then you need to probably organize your time management schedules and keep buffer times open. When things don't go your way, use those buffer times to make things go your way. You need to adapt your mindset that 50% things will go my way, but 50% things might not happen in the way I want them to happen. Like when I began this session, I thought everything is okay. My PPT is great. I can see at my screen great, but my full screen was not showing. Either half of my face or my shoulder or some body part was showing, and the complete person was not seen. Then I got a feedback that it's not happening. So what did I do? I immediately saw, oh, okay. I corrected, I changed, I moved my camera, and then I found, oh, there was one button which somehow while sharing my PPT, I had unclicked it. So instead of showing full screen, it was showing some part screen. If I would have panicked, oh my God, if I started thinking and worrying about, oh my God, for 30 minutes, people have been seeing some part of my body, how would the rest of the session go? But you always have to be prepared that half things will not go in your hand. Today, by God's grace, we did not have power cut. If there was a power cut, then instead of Wi-Fi, we might have gone on a mobile, and the lighting that you are seeing might become dim, or you might not be able to see my face and just see the PPT. A lot of things happen. That's okay. Let's be prepared for it. So keep a mindset that 50% things will go according to you, 50% will go according to God or environment or whatever you believe in, whatever divine presence or whatever universe presence you believe in. With that mindset, if you work, you will not feel much tense. On what not to do in an interview. I have spoken a lot of things about what should not be done along with what should be done. If you have taken a note, I've also mentioned a lot of things that you can't have a complete session on what not to do. Okay. Because if I say don't do this, then I need to tell people what to do.